US President Joe Biden snaps at a news reporter, and snapped is actually an understatement. The incident took place at the White House after Joe Biden delivered a speech on tackling inflation and addressing supply chain issues. According to reports, Biden did not take questions after his speech. After the president's speech, Biden's economic advisor Brian stated, and I quote, "We're going to give the press a moment to exit." It was then that several reporters took a shot and yelled out questions in hope that President Biden would answer them. One of those reporters was Biden-Doocy from Fox News, who asked President Biden, and I quote, "Do you think inflation is a political liability ahead of the midterm elections?" Now, instead of answering the question posed to him, Joe Biden flat out abused the journalist. Have a look at this.
Why are you sending 8,500 troops to Ukraine? Will you take President Biden's picture back? Do you think inflation is a political liability?
That's a great asset. More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Let's take a step back here. Why does Joe Biden not take questions from the press? Joe Biden said, and I quote, "The only reason I don't like doing this is you never report on why I've called the meeting. This is actually really important. I had a very, very, very good meeting. Total unanimity with all the European leaders. We'll talk about it later." Okay, but this doesn't answer why you would curse any member of the press who was rightfully present at this event. Biden's cursing has been included in the official White House transcript as well. Have a look. But perhaps Biden does not take questions because he can't answer them. This was not the first time that Fox reporter Doocy and Joe Biden have faced each other. In August of 2021, Doocy asked Biden whether he was willing to take any responsibility for the Afghanistan crisis. Remember, this was when Biden pulled US troops out of Afghanistan without warning. This resulted in the Taliban toppling the Ashraf Ghani government and taking over Afghanistan, which caused terror, chaos, and suffering to millions of Afghan citizens, including women and children. Fox reporter Doocy asked Biden whether he was willing to take any responsibility for the Afghanistan crisis. Biden went on to close his eyes, bend his head, and rest his hands on the podium. His actions were criticized by netizens as it displayed the US government's weakness and incompetence in dealing with the situation.
What?
I don't think it's the issue that, do you think that people have an issue with pulling out of Afghanistan or just the way that things have happened?
It's not just Biden, though. A few days ago, the US Vice President Kamala Harris was also widely panned for her interview on handling the COVID-19 pandemic in America. When asked by an NBC journalist about whether changing the US's strategy to fight COVID-19 was plausible, Harris gave this inept answer.
Time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree that there are things and tools that are available to us to slow this thing.
At present, the United States is right at the top, carrying the most COVID-19 cases in the world. This also exposes the hypocrisy of mainstream media. Former US President Donald Trump was bashed time and time again for his remarks to reporters during press conferences, and yes, sometimes they did get terse responses. But the difference is, Trump's remarks often made headline news on certain mainstream media platforms. Also, Trump never used profanity towards members of the press or called anyone a SOB publicly at any point during his presidency. So why isn't mainstream media making a big deal about Joe Biden? Doocy later stated that Biden called him to apologize, and yet a section of mainstream media is going so far as to justify Biden's foul language and even maintain that he should not have apologized to this reporter. USA Today gave a pardon to Biden and instead blamed the Fox News reporter Doocy. USA Today said, and I quote, "It was a stupid question." American talk show The View, aired on ABC, also defended President Joe Biden's vulgarity. Watch this.
But I just think he should acknowledge that he was a poor example for...
Well, but no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He should acknowledge he's human, because that happens sometimes when people ask you endless stupid questions from one particular place. And sometimes you just lose it for a second.
If it was a stupid question, President Biden could have stayed silent, ignored the question, or simply walked away. Not only was this against decorum, but also unbecoming and undignified for the President of the United States. Like and share this video. Be sure to leave your comment below as well. Keep watching News 9. Until next time, this is Priyanka signing off. Namaste.